Okay, so this image has been going around social media for the past 3 or 4 years now, and I hate it. Not for any religious reason, but because it's almost a complete and total fabrication. It is offensive in its sheer level of ignorance. Even the grammar is wrong. What are you doing putting "but" at the start of a sentence? Well, never mind, we're not here for grammar. I want to tear this down point by point and show you guys just how wrong it is. Alright, let's start at the top.
This is Ishtar.
Wow, okay, stop there. 3 words in, we're already wrong. Let's look at this picture. It's known as the Burney relief and was carved into a Babylonian wall sometime in the negative 1800s. This could be Ishtar, but it doesn't match any of her previous appearances with the nudity in the bird parts and the owls. It's equally possible it's a Ereshkigal or Lilith. The host museum thinks it's probably Ereshkigal, who was Ishtar's sister and the goddess of the underworld, so I'm going to count this as a case of whoever wrote this wanting something naked over wanting something accurate.
This is Ishtar, pronounced Easter.
5 words now, not even a full sentence, and we're already wrong twice. That is impressive. At any rate, Ishtar is Ishtar, pronounced Ishtar. There's not any evidence it was ever pronounced Easter. The closest we can get on an anthropological scale is maybe Ishtar, but that's the best you can get. Generally speaking, I expect humans to be better with words than Meghan Trainor's songwriters at a minimum, so this is a flat fail.
Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar.
Now, technically we can't disprove this, but that is because Ishtar is a Bronze Age goddess. The Bronze Age, if you didn't know, is a period of history that predates the Greeks, and we know very little about the Bronze Age life compared to even Greek life. If Ishtar did have a feast day, we would not know when it was, or at least I found nothing claiming when it may have been.
Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Babylonian and Assyrian goddess of fertility and sex.
This part is not wrong per se, but Ishtar is a major goddess and is the goddess of lots of things. Storehouses, dates, wool, meat, grain, rain, thunderstorms, political power, war, combat, justice, desire, beauty, fertility, and sexual love. Sex is definitely the case though, because Ishtar's temples were the site of religious prostitution. Also, they forgot to include the Sumerians and Akkadians, who were the original worshippers of Ishtar, or as they called her, Inanna.
Her symbols, like the egg and the bunny,
So, I've looked through several lists of her symbols, and not a one has eggs or rabbits listed. One of her symbols as Inanna is a dove, and I guess doves lay eggs, but no, that doesn't count. She is represented by an animal, but it's a lion, which does not work for the next part of this sentence, I guess. So maybe that's why they decided to make up new things for her to be represented by.
Her symbols, like the egg and the bunny, were and still are fertility and sex symbols. Or did you actually think eggs and bunnies had anything to do with the resurrection?
Bunnies and eggs are fertility and sex symbols, of course. Eggs hatch into babies, and bunnies were created by famous benevolent Lich Lord Hugh Gaffner. Everyone knows these things. Eggs have lots to do with resurrection also, however. Hindu, Egyptian, Zoroastrian, Finnish, and Chinese lore all have stories of resurrection via egg. In fact, the use of eggs in Easter celebration comes from the Orthodox Church, where it is painted red to represent life and victory, the egg itself representing the tomb of Christ and the resurrection. The main point here is eggs have nothing to do with Ishtar. Bunnies don't either, but we'll get to where that comes from later.
After Constantine decided to Christianize the empire, Easter was changed to represent Jesus!
Okay, past the halfway point here. This is technically true in the way one might say, King George III died sometime before yesterday. It's not immediate. And of course, this is 100% wrong if you pretend Ishtar is where Easter comes from, since her worship died out hundreds of years before Constantine.
But at its roots, Easter, which is how you now pronounce Ishtar,
You already said that. Also, no.
is all about celebrating fertility and sex.
Alright. This is a bit frustrating. Easter is about fertility and sex as much as Christmas is about gay orgies. That is to say, meanings change, and few holidays hold the same meaning over thousands of years. Yes, if Ishtar had a holiday, it would probably be about that, and Easter did used to have another meaning, but it is not the same meaning anymore. Let's get into that. What was Easter then? Well, a couple things. It was a feast day for a Germanic goddess called Ustra or Istra, and that feast day was used to denote the first day of spring, so more like a harvest festival, really. It also just so happens to line up with the Hebrew holiday of Passover, which is the day Easter is based on. Ustra is more interesting though, so let's talk more about that. Istra is an ancient Germanic goddess of dawn and of spring. Her festival is connected to the renewal and fertility of the land, but like in a plant sense, she is related to rabbits and is symbolized by the hare. Although my research points to the Easter egg predating the co-opting of Ustra's feast day, and in fact, the entire practice of Easter predating Ustra's worship. I could be wrong, and the egg might have originated here, as some modern paganism websites claim. Who knows? Not me.
Hey, wait, if Easter shares all the traits here, why does the meme say Ishtar? Most of this thing could just be swapped out for Easter and it would be considerably less wrong. It may even less than half wrong.
Yeah, that's probably true, random audience member. I mean, that's assuming the modern interpretation of a goddess whose worship practices were not well recorded are somehow accurate after like 1200 years, so why did they write it the way they did? As I understand it, this is a piece of anti-Christian propaganda from the Richard Dawkins Facebook page, co-opted from a 19th century church minister named Alexander Hislop, whose historic discoveries are dubious at best. See, Hislop wanted to undermine the Catholic Church and tried to use his so-called research to call them heretics, while his Protestant beliefs were the true celebration of the resurrection. Apparently, way back in 2013, someone at the Dawkins Foundation thought it'd be fun to make it into a Facebook meme. And since people share things without fact-checking them first, it got popular among atheists and non-Abrahamic religious types. Thus, I have to see it every year. I made a video hoping that people would stop doing that, or at least people would share the criticism of this popular piece of normie drivel. Okay, bye, I guess.